All right, it's a perfect time to bring in Joe Concha. Biden's cheat sheets at fundraiser are worrying donors. What's going on?
Well, if you need cheat sheets, Stu, this long into a presidency, we're now, what, 3 years in or so? And, oh, by the way, you're vice president for 8 years, you were a senator for decades, and you still need to be told what to say on questions, Stu, that you know are coming. Well, that should be alarming for most Americans. And look, there's an ABC News poll out earlier this month showing that nearly 9 in 10 Americans think that this man does not have the mental acuity to be president, not now, and certainly not 4 years from now. So when news like this gets out, and by the way, why does Biden know what questions are coming? I mean, he can't just handle this on his own. I think most voters look at this and they say, I don't know if this is somebody I could support, given that even his donors are worried at this point.
Joe, the president's heading to New York City today. He's going to do an interview. He's taping an interview with late-night host Seth Meyers. Here's what I think. It's going to be a softball interview. He's not exactly answering questions, and it's taped, so you can edit this thing. What say you?
Yeah, I heard it's going to be taped early in the afternoon, maybe, well, not early, mid-afternoon, probably about 3 o'clock or so. Look, Stu, if you're running to Seth Meyers, who is the biggest fanboy of Joe Biden there is on television, and that's really saying something, it shows weakness, right? And by the way, if you want to do an interview not to be seen, Seth Meyers is the show to go on because he could barely get something like 700,000 viewers on any given night. Just to put that into context, Gutfeld basically gets 3 times that much. So that's where we are at this point. And we know what the questions are going to be about, by the way. They're going to be about Donald Trump and how horrible he is. That's about 90%. Another 5% will be about defending Biden's age. And another 5% will be about Joe Biden's love for his son, Hunter. So that's where we're going to land at this point. I don't even think it's going to be a softball interview, Stu. I think it'll be a T-ball interview if you take a beach ball and put it up on the tee. A little bit easier to hit.
Joe Concha, that's cruel, but I've got another one for you. Sportscaster Bob Costas ripping into Trump and his supporters. Watch this.
He is by far the most disgraceful figure in modern presidential history. You have to be in the throes of some sort of toxic delusion in a toxic cult to believe that Donald Trump has ever been, in any sense, emotionally, psychologically, intellectually, or ethically fit to be president of the United States. But his supporters are locked in on that.
I'm almost laughing, Joe. Is this a deplorables moment?
Oh, yes, and we saw how that worked out when Hillary Clinton did that in 2016. I would argue that was the turning point in that election. And I think if anyone who comments on politics or candidates or our leaders in general, they want to criticize someone like Trump for XYZ on policy or personality, that's all fair game, just as it is criticizing Joe Biden or any leading Democrat. But once you attack a candidate's supporters, Stu, especially a candidate who received more votes than any Republican presidential candidate in history by a country mile, that's where you lose the message. And by the way, on policy, I mean, are you part of a toxic cult if you agree that Trump is better equipped to handle border security and how to do it, for example? What if you think that Donald Trump is more equipped to lower inflation and gas prices? They saw Trump's foreign policy as president. They saw a world that was much more stable and at peace than we are now. So if you agree with Trump on all of that and you plan to vote for him, how does that make you part of a toxic cult? Exactly. I just don't understand the argument of going after somebody's voters. It's just not smart, and you lose the message.
Shades of Hillary Clinton, if you ask me. Joe Concha, you're all right. You know what I mean? You're all right. And we'll see you again soon, young man. Thanks very much. See ya.
Back at you, man.